Hi, this is Jürgen Rasmussen. This is a quick part 2 of the video I posted about how to spot toxic personalities to avoid relationship disasters. I realized that there were a couple of things that I forgot to mention regarding red flags. So one obvious one is any partner who early on tries to isolate you from your family and friends. That's a really bad red flag. And very often the pretext is that this person loves you so much that they're willing to give up their own life, they're willing to give up their own friends and their own family to commit completely to the relationship because they love you so much. And therefore, if you really love them, you should do the same thing. This is not about love. This is a person who's trying to control you. Run. This is absolutely not a good sign. Another really bad sign is the person who claims that he or she loves you so much that they're going to kill themselves or commit suicide if you ever leave them. And this is quite often you'll see this stuff with people who have the typical borderline personality tendencies where they're extremely scared of any rejections, and their moods and their moods are swinging all over the place really, really fast, or people who have really, really poor boundaries. But someone who, some of these people may actually kill themselves, on occasion. It's not that, but this has nothing to do with love. So someone who loves you doesn't treat you like that. So someone who loves you doesn't threaten you with suicide or violence if you ever leave them. Like if someone truly loves you for you, meaning they actually want you to be happy and they love you, and you decide that you would be happier without them, they'd still love you. They may not like it or appreciate it one bit, but they would still like you. If they hate you when you do that, it's not love. Okay? So the person who threatens suicide and who has this, I can't live without you, this is a person, again, who's trying to control you. The person who suddenly hates you when you're not exactly who they want to be, again, this is not love. Something else also to look at is if if you if you're with someone who claims that all of their previous partners have been narcissists and psychopaths and bipolar people and stuff like that. Well, you may have had someone who's been in a few relationships and had that happen, but that's a kind of red flag, right? Because there's a trend these days with all these narcissism YouTube channels that people say, oh, my ex was a narcissist and all my family members are narcissists. Could that be true? Yeah, it could be true. But what's excuse me, what's likely very often the case, though, is you want to ask, what psychological purpose does it serve for this person to project onto other people that they are narcissistic or psychopathic? And one thing that very often seems to be the case is that if I can project that my ex-partners were all narcissists, that makes me innocent and pure. That's a way of saying that they are fully at fault for everything that went wrong. I'm just the poor innocent victim. So the people who see narcissists and psychopaths everywhere, you know, are very often people who are very reluctant to own their own shit, and who are quite incapable of reflecting. And you very often have a lot of victimhood going on. Like if you ask them about their past relationships, you'll notice that they pin all the blame on their partners, and they're very reluctant to see how they may have contributed to anything, right? Now, of course, on occasion, someone might actually have been with someone who's really bad, and they might have been extremely unlucky and not seen the signs before it's too late. Um, Another thing to look at is just callousness. Especially when it comes to people who have psychopathic tendencies. If you look at people with psychopathic tendencies, they can be very hard to spot. But there's a personality style of a kind of fearless, bold temperament. These people don't have emotion phobia. They hardly have much emotion. They have a very shallow affect and emotion. They don't feel much fear or anxiety or guilt or shame or any of that stuff. They don't really attach, right? So a bold, a bold kind of fearless temperament, some recklessness, being disembedded, and also um, callousness. If you're dating someone or you see someone whose humor is extremely hostile and they they seem completely unmoved by the suffering of other people. Now, there's a distinction, of course, between not letting oneself to be manipulated by people who are manipulating using emotions. People who have good boundaries in that sense. It can look the same, but it's not. But if you see someone who's generally cold and callous and just completely unmoved by the suffering of other people, it's a really, 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 really bad sign. All right. I hope this was useful. As always, thanks for listening.